Hello again, this is Hajo Müller with the final part 3 of how the artwork for Steven Wilson The Overview was made. In this part we will come to the pictures in the book, which are very different also compared to the realistic pictures we know from space, from the NASA, and why we developed it in the way we did. Enjoy. We wanted to show our very own kind. What else could be? It could be completely nonsense. I used very different inspirations. On one hand, for example, famous historic painters as Kandinsky or Malevich or Braque. I was always fascinated by the effect and the aesthetics of 16th and 17th years science fiction comics, or old covers, as we know from Perry Rhodan covers in the 70s. Something that has still a very human touch, with something what is handmade, painted structures, drawn structures, and you bring it together with this very abstract kind of space. Here you can see a much more clear connection to the artist I've talked before, like Braque or Kandinsky or Malevich. Personally, I have to say that especially those very surreal pictures and backgrounds was something that was very fascinating to me. I will show you now on a concrete picture, another one you can find in the book, obviously, how I worked step by step to get such a picture that is some of these very, very abstract, different pictures. This is something what is obviously more inspired by those Russian historical expressionists like Kandinsky or Malevich. I like the idea to reduce things, if possible, on a maximum. So if you can work just with the basic elements like circles or squares, it is interesting to me how can we put this together and still get an impression of something that could maybe exist in space, and funny gimmicks like this little walnut, for example. When I started with this picture is also combined of several single elements, and the start again was a structure very similar to the way I also started in part number 2. Then step by step I combined more things, included more things, to get to an impact that is finally impressive. You should have the chance to fall inside of the book. This one is actually an extended part of an old Polaroid, just combined with the background, then a bit of color, and now, step by step, I combine those basic elements. Like circles, you can reduce all the things on its minimum. Is this existing anywhere in space? A sun, obviously. And step by step, there are more elements added. We have our stars from before, very subtle here, I have to confess. Hand-drawn lines and hand-drawn circles. As you can see, beside the fact that the lines are hand-drawn, here the biggest part is done at the computer. It was actually meant as planet Mars, and let's see how we can include Mars in this very own picture. And we already have a picture that seems to be quite interesting, but it's not finished yet. There's missing something that gives it a bit more of tension. So I divided it in 2 parts, and the part on the right was twisted again from positive to negative. It has a tension, it has a dynamic, but it's still maybe a little bit too clean. Give it a little bit more different kind of color shape, and now we have the picture you can find finally in the book. Now that's it. I hope you enjoyed the impression I gave you of how the artwork for Steven Wilson The Overview was made, the same way as it was for me. It was an absolute pleasure. And the only thing I can say now is enjoy the album.